As we do here, we do offense through special teams, quarterback through, in this case, long snapper. Well, we got it with every position covered this year. So I give Coach Doral and that staff a lot of credit. A lot of Oklahoma kids are represented. We've got some kids from Texas, some kids from Arkansas. So I am looking forward to it. So first up, we have quarterback Cruz Campbell, 6', 190 from Tuttle. I appreciate Cruz for the support so far, and his father as well. I appreciate the support, sir. He's fresh off a state championship, so Coach Doral and Cole got to see him up close and personal when they played inside the Rich. He's a good pocket presence, great deep ball with plenty of touch and air. Again, I kind of harped on this. I pointed this out last year when we signed Owen Jones, the importance of the deep ball. Listen, if you don't believe me, go ask Jacob Delsa. Yeah. He can tell you firsthand what happens when deep balls are not thrown properly. He has a quick throwing motion with a lot of juice. He's not necessarily a burner. Is he going to scare you outside the pocket? Not necessarily. But he does have enough escapability to extend plays, to buy time, to take off if the hole is there. Operates well in muddy pockets, and when I mean that, I mean when there's bodies flying all the way around, collapsing at times. He throws really well on the run. Sometimes you get guys that throw on the run, there's a loss of accuracy, there's a loss of throw power. That's not the case with Cruz. It seems to be about the same. If there is a drop, it is hardly noticeable there. In totality, it reminds me a lot of Cooper Wilcox from 2022. There's just a lot of the same tendencies there, right? I think I don't know how to put this. It's different from Owen. Like, I feel like they're similar quarterbacks, but there's some slight differences there, which is why I didn't go with the Keats Calhoun comparison. I think Cruz might have more juice to him, but I think I'm not trying to put this other than I can tell you that there is a difference. I know that they might appear similar if you watch the film, but to me at least, there is a difference. Now, I think this is a good pickup for us. Obviously, he comes from a winning program that has to matter. He's won at a high level. He's played at a high level. This is a good pickup, a good start to adding to that quarterback room. As we know, Jet is indeed a senior there. And so there will be a battle for that starting spot this time next year. And so I think Cruz is a talented guy that should be in the mix. I would expect a red shirt there and development, and we will see him this time in 2026. Now, the second quarterback, which I was low-key surprised we brought in two quarterbacks, because I do know, to my knowledge, Owen Jones is still there. I cannot attest for Jed Ross. So I was surprised when I saw the list and saw there was two listed. And I hope I'm saying this man's name right. Is it Ivan Laughlin, 6', 190, out of Lawton MacArthur, that has been a great source of talent for us the past few recruiting classes. Marquise Harris last year, true freshman from Lawton MacArthur, running back. We know the season finale that he had. The first thing you notice about Mr. Laughlin, though, he's extremely athletic, extremely explosive, broke several long runs. Now, you can debate or not the speed adjustment here. Will that still be the case in the MIAA? I do not know. I just know from a quarterback standpoint, though, extremely explosive, much like Cruz, doesn't lose arm strength or accuracy when throwing on the run there. He does have a nice arm. He throws the deep ball with ease. It's almost like he just flicks his wrist there. He's got a high ceiling. Like to me, and I know it's low-hanging fruit because they came from the same school, But to me, it just screams Will Collins. You were here in 2018, 2019, Will Collins. It was a transfer from Louisiana Monroe by way of Lord MacArthur. But I mean, it's the same thing. Will was athletic. He had a nice arm, threw well on the run. But some of the negatives with Will, I'm seeing here too. Sometimes he throws in the tight windows, especially while on the run. That always concerns me. It's tough enough throwing into it when you're stationary, okay, and in good form. But I really get concerned when you're doing that and you're not set, okay? So that does concern me. I just feel like this is a very explosive player. Like this could be the most explosive quarterback we've had. I mean, since Steph. I mean, that's not a massive jump, but I mean, it's two different styles, right? Steph was again more of your Cam Newton physical style. Lachlan to me would be more of a what's a good comparison here to the man? Almost like Donovan Amolo from Central Missouri last year. I kind of get a similar vibe there. We saw Molo. He's now in Central Arkansas. I think it's kind of the same vibe there. And so on my list, I have him in purple, which means I'm kind of on the fence of, like, do I think he'll be a different cat? Or do I think he will be, a good football player for us? I'm kind of on the fence on that at this point in time. To be honest, I'd have to watch the film 3-4 more times if I had to, like, life or death, had to make a decision on it. But at this point in time, I think there's extremely high upside, but I still just have some of the negative traits that we saw from Will Collins. And again, if you were here in 2018, 2019, you saw the good side of that, and then you saw the bad side of that. But I think worst case, we have an explosive playmaker, and we have something that adds a different dimension to that room, right? I think if you look at that room, Clayton Creasy, I think is our best runner. So if we want another quarterback in that mold, Lachlan fits that. So from that perspective, we added two good and two different signal callers that bring similar and different things to the table and adds to an already talented room. So shout out there to Coach Beringstool on his two signees. Go to running back. Believe Coach Eckern is still there. Now, we know that's a position that's been hit hard by graduation and transfers, okay? We talked to our previous guest, Deb Matthews, going to be the lead man. Now, we signed 3 running backs, and I gotta say, I am impressed with all 3. First is Chris Ficklin, 5'10", 180 from Bentonville, Arkansas, Bentonville High School. Very elusive. He's a pacing runner who hits the hole hard. He has hands, so this is very good. Okay, this is very good because we know the importance of the running back in our pass game. Doesn't go down on initial contact. Defenders almost bounce off of him. This is very good. He plays bigger than 180 pounds, so think Dev Matthews in that regard. When he signed in 2024, right, I said he plays bigger than, I think he was 190 at that point in time. Same kind of deal here. I am unsure of the top speed. I just not going to lie. I'm unsure about that. And if he doesn't have it, that's fine. Well, we feel like we've got guys with that, right? Maybe that's not necessarily his role because it seems like it takes him a minute to get to that top speed. Some guys can just immediately hit that top speed, right? Like they hit the hole and they're immediately gone. It almost seems like it takes him a minute to build up to that top speed. And I'm still not sure if that top speed is enough to be a home run hitter at this level. However, that's not really a detriment. It's something that I did note. To me, he's more quicker than he is fast, but he has a good arsenal of jukes, cuts, and stiff arms. Runs with really good pad level has really good vision, good feel for the game. If you notice, his legs never stop churning. He's always moving forward, which is very, very, very important, especially when you're fighting through contact. You don't want to ever stop. He keeps the legs churning. Like I said, and he also has really good judgment on the cutback lanes. Sometimes it's really easy to either take the cutback at the wrong time or miss the cutback in general. He does a good job of knowing when to take the cutback and when to just hit the hole and get what he can get there. If I had to make a comparison, it's like a less explosive TJ Roberts. You were here in 2019. You know the immense talent that TJ Roberts was. A very, very, very explosive back for us. Mixed with some Dev Matthews, I'm going to say that because you get some of the hard-nosed running that Dev has with some of the elusiveness that TJ brought. So that's kind of the mix I get. I think all in all, it's a very good running back. Does he play year one? I don't know. I would like to, again, I said this about Dev, but I would like to think we redshirt, we get him a little bit bigger, like 190, 200, I think would suffice. Because he's not as much power as Dev, so I think we get him up to that. However, that running back room behind Dev is wide open, so if he does see the field, then don't be surprised. But I feel like he could benefit from a redshirt season. But all in all, I'm very high on this man. It's a very good pickup here, and I'm glad we continue to making some inroads into the state of Arkansas. Next, we have Edric Lambert, great name, 6'1", 210 from Norman High School by way of OBU. First transfer of the day. He is a junior. I could only find his high school tape, but as a senior in high school, he had 34 catches for 675, 7 touchdowns, 6 carries for 36 yards and a touchdown. Now, he did play some special teams at OBU. You recall, Braden Waters did that for Northwestern on Oklahoma State when he came in, and we saw the impact that he made over the past few years. So do not sleep on that. Now, what I really like about Mr. Lambert, to me, this is a perfect, like, Andrew Carney type of guy. Okay, because if you watch the tape, I feel like he can play some running back, tight end for us, some fullback, some H-back. Pretty much everything Andrew Carney has done, he can do. And this is very good because obviously Andrew Carney is one man. And we saw when he was unfortunately hurt last year, felt like we lost that aspect of the offense. Okay, so we can have two guys do that because, again, I'm not sure where Carney ends up, but he did play some tight end last year. Obviously, we're losing Dom, okay, and we got 2 tight ends that we'll get to here shortly. But I think if we want some experience there, and said we want to keep Carney more in that role, then I think Lambert can take the other role of being that fullback type of guy. But he's got good hands, can make contested catch, very good blocker. He's definitely physical and nasty. He will stay on his defender through the whistle here. I think this is a valuable signing. I think this is a valuable signing that can help us both on special teams and on offense here. He brings experience. I really like this. I truly do. I truly do. I think this frees up a lot for what Carney can do, and that's very good for Coach Roberts, for Coach Curley as well. I feel we have another chess piece here. I feel like can be a mismatch. Yeah, I truly do. I can't attest to what the long speed is, but I still feel like on some of the linebackers, this could be a mismatch here, but I really like the addition of Lambert. This might be a very underrated signing for us. Then looking, the last running back is Roderick Sloan Jr. What a great name. 5'10", 180 from Putnam City. Shout out there to Putnam City head coach Willis Alexander. Used to be the head coach at the alma mater, Mount St. Mary's. Dearly love Willis Alexander. He's a good dude. When you look at Roderick, to me, he has the home run ability. He hits the hole extremely fast. He has tremendous pad level. He runs hard and low for 180 pounds. He didn't look 180 when I watched the tape. I would have assumed he was like 170, 165, somewhere around there. He's got good hands, so that should help with the swings that, like Cottrell had great success with, right? Because we are losing that. We also lost Emmanuel Crawford. We are losing that. I think that is something that Roderick can excel in. I think you'll see some of the clips here. He shows off the hands. He's a one cut and gone back. It reminds me a lot of Jalen Cottrell. So if we're looking for, it's you hate to say a Jalen Cottrell replacement because that's a false statement in itself. I don't know if you can adequately expect to replace that with a freshman, but he has that type of potential there. Make an impact in both the run and the pass game. Think he's suitable enough in pass pro that should improve, just over the years. The stronger that he gets, he adds some muscle to it there. I think Mr. Sloan can be a special player for us. Very high on him. I think the future is bright there. And like I said, I like all three signees. I think they each bring something different. Ficklin to me is like I said, more of your balanced back. More to me, if I want 2-3 yards, I'm going to Ficklin. If I want the ability to, maybe break a 60-70 yard to the house, I want Roderick Sloan. And then if I want, a little bit of versatility from that H-back, fullback spot, someone that the defense has to account on if he leaks out, I think Lambert is your guy. So overall, this is a very good crop of backs there that should be making a impact for us. Now we go to wide receiver, Coach Curley's unit there. Now this is a much criticized unit last year, as we all know, rightfully so, right? We did not add any transfers. Now that might be a surprise. It kind of was a surprise to me, somewhat. I think there is hope we develop in that room with the talent that we have returning. On top of, I feel like there's a few guys here, given the openness of that room, in my honest opinion, could push for playing time. First, we have Jamil Alexander Jr., what a great name, 5'10", 170 from Altus. He had 89 catches for a little bit over 1,120 yards and 17 touchdowns. I can tell you this. Anybody remember Javion Dangerfield? And if you do, you are a true OG, and I appreciate you. Right, I kind of got a similar vibe there. The explosiveness, the way he gets to the top of the route, right? He gets there extremely quickly. He's willing to make the tough catch over the middle and the sideline. Well, I kind of threw in a little bit of Delso there, and just that willingness and ability to come down with it. He does have return ability. This is very important. We know the return game, we gotta call it what it is, was just not good last year. Okay. And I think there's several players here that could excel in that role early. Jamil Alexander is probably the first one. I honestly would like to see him redshirt, like to see him get stronger again at 5'10", 170. Man, unless you're JT Looper, I just haven't really seen success like that. I think, I don't know about the route running ability fully, to be honest. I think he can still stand to get bigger and stronger, but I think there's a path. If we want to use him as a return man, I think there's a path. If we want a more explosive guy that's willing to go across the middle there, that can, catch it in the middle. If he shakes the tackle, he can go to the house. I think there is a path to a role for Mr. Alexander, but I think that comes, maybe a year or so from now. But again, I really like what I saw there. Moving on to Takari Bethel. Again, the names in this class, by the way, S tier. S tier. Takari Bethel, 5'11", 180 from Owasso, so we know very good program down there. So we know he's coming in well coached, over 1,000 total yards, 8 touchdowns. I'm going to say this, okay? I'm going to say this. And I know the last time I said this, okay, the man played in, I don't know, like 6 games and then never saw him again, okay? But when I was watching the tape, the more I watched it, the more I just had to admit the fact, like, this looks like a JT Looper region. And you were here 2017, JT Looper led every level of football in receiving yards. Just an immense talent, great dude, by the way. And I got a similar vibe, okay? Because to me, we've got a home run hitter any day of the week. That is obvious from like 3 clips in, okay? He rarely goes down on first contact, which is very impressive. That's very impressive. He can make the tough catch and take the hit. You go back, you watch JT. He could go across the middle. He could get destroyed. He could get up and act like it was nothing. Okay, I think this is a guy with Bethel. We could use him on sweeps. We could almost use him in a similar role to how we use Terrell Davis. If we're being honest here, it could be a similar role. Yeah, now I'm not saying that he is, but I think we got to get the ball in his hands. I think he has a tremendous chance, by being honest here, because I feel like that return job has to be open. It just has to be, because we've got to get more from that. All right, and I know Cottrell was doing returns. At one point, he's gone. What I feel like Will? I feel like Will was back there at one point, but we got to have openings there, and I think there's a path there. I think there's also a path, because to be honest here, I feel like our most explosive guy, not named Christian Valeriano, that we have proof of, is Hagen Hacker. Okay, but I feel like we could use more of those, and I think Takari fits that mold of a high impact, explosive playmaker that can make a difference for us. So this is a guy I would suspect will be tough to keep off the field in some way, shape, or form, and I think the ceiling is very high for Mr. Bethel here. Then we have Zaylen Matlock, 5'10", 180 from Choctaw. Now, we know the last receiver we got from Choctaw. Yeah. So I just want to say let's not heap that expectation on this man. I think they're different. Like if I'm gonna they're different, but there is a lot of similarities there. And again, I did get a lot of Terrell Davis vibes. I'm just not gonna lie to you here. He's a home run hitter used in a variety of ways. Again, there was sweeps and whatnot. He has return ability, which to me puts you in a position to contribute from day one. He can make the contested catch. He can make the tough catch. There were several mosses. Again, the man is 5'10". You go back to Terrell Davis, 6 foot, was like mossing guys left and right. He's explosive. He's slippery. Yeah, he's just going to be tough to keep off the field, man. I feel we've got to get a jolt in that room. Yeah, we've got to get a jolt in that room. And I'm telling you, Zaylen and Takari fit that to an absolute T. But I'm very high on this man. Does he become TD? I don't know. I'm not going to put that pressure on this man. I just simply know the fact that Choctaw seems to be producing quality receivers. The last Choctaw receiver we got was very fruitful for us. Zaylen is definitely in that mold. So I think this is a very good pickup there. I think this is a guy we could see on the field sooner rather than later. The final receiver we have is Brandon Todd, 5'9", 160 from Enid, by way of Chisel. Appreciate him following your boy on Twitter and Instagram. Now, the first thing you notice, we're talking about we needing more explosiveness out of that room. We got 4.46 speed, so you can go ahead and check that off. Check that off right now. He's the program's all-time leading receiver, so you know we're getting a impact guy here. He has return ability. He can make the tough catch. I think where he could thrive, to be honest here, is on those sweeps, on jet sweeps, on when we throw those little quick one-man screens like we used to throw to Schumann. And we would throw occasionally to TD. I think he could really thrive on this. The way that we block on the perimeter with the receivers and tight ends, especially you're talking about a man that's 5'9", we've got some pretty big receivers and some pretty big tight ends. It could be easy for defenders to lose him in that. And with that 4.4 speed, he only needs a crease there. I know he showed some route running, but to me, this is a deep threat. I look at it similarly to Hagen Hacker, where I think Hagen's route running has improved. But I mean, you go back last year, a lot of his impact was in the intermediate to deep game. Yeah, I think Brandon can be a fantastic field stretcher for us. And if we're going to be honest, we do need that. We do need more explosiveness there. I think he has return ability. I think again, you would have to feel like there's a possibility. I personally would like him to redshirt, get up from 160 pounds, but I think you give him a year of development, you give him a year in the weight room. There's no reason why in 2026 you're not going to see him out there in the rotation because Coach Curley plays a lot of receivers, and I'm just saying. We got a jolt because to me, four guys that we signed have, in my opinion, game-breaking speed. They are explosive. They have return ability. They're really good in the open field. Okay, and I feel like we were missing that at times last year. Okay, so this is a very good group. I see a couple of early impact guys there, but the potential from this room, to me, the sky is the limit. The sky is truly the limit there. Moving on to tight end, we have Coach Roberts' unit. Now we know we lost Dom during the graduation. Glad the man had the season that he had. Now that does obviously leave some big shoes to fill there. Yeah, we've got Braden Turner back now, a junior, and then Zane Zilney, redshirt sophomore from Westmore. Right. Braden's played a lot, not a lot of production in terms of the pass game. So, I feel like there's a chance for whoever we bring in to possibly see the field. And the first guy, Hudson Abel, what a great name. 6'4", 215 Edmond kid you love to see first of the day from OCS. If I'm going to be honest with you here, this is a less explosive version of Oscar Hammond. You were here 2022, 2023. You know what Oscar Hammond did. That's why he's currently at OSU there. So, I think if we can get back to that, would be fantastic. I think it truly would. He was used out wide. He has tremendous length at 6'4", 215. You can add easily, 20, 30 pounds to that, if we're being honest, because I think Dom was like 240. Okay, he's a good vertical threat. can make the tough catch. He was using in a variety of ways. He got carries and sweeps, took some wildcat snaps. Okay, so Pitt, they had that tight end that they used in the wildcat. I know we used Carney for that in the past, but felt like down the road, there's no reason why we couldn't use this man if we choose to go that route. Runs with great pad level, which you don't really see for a guy that's 6'4". That's very, very, very promising because the more bulk and the more strength that he adds when he lowers the shoulder, defenders are going to start to feel it more. I don't think he's a home run hitter at this level, and that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. The main thing is he can be a really good threat to me in the intermediate game. And with the field stretchers that we sign, that should be open. Okay? That should be open, and we should still be able to do what we did with Dom did last year. We could split him out wide. We can get him involved that way. I think it'll be very hard to keep this man off the field just based on the fact we saw Oscar play as a freshman of similar size. Sure, Oscar was more explosive, but I think they can have a similar impact, affect the game in similar ways. Very high on Mr. Abel here. I think the future is very bright. Then the second and final tight end is Owen Walford, 6'5", 220 from Ada. He's got the day one size, but obviously with that frame, you could easily add 20 to 30 more pounds to it. So that is very, very, very promising. It's, one of those guys where he gets off the bus and passes the eye test. To me, this is a guy that's more in the mold of a Braden and a Zane. He feels more like an H-back to me than like a standard tight end. And that's kind of the way I felt like Ada used him a lot of the tape was him in the backfield. He can be a nasty blocker. It almost reminded me of Robert Givens. You recall, if you knew Robert Givens' grade tackle force, when he signed back in 2021 out of Anadarko, there were times when you watch this tape and you're like, that's a dominant lineman right there. And there were other times where you're just like, this is not ideal. This is like bad level potential. And I said, if we could just get Rob to harness the positive, the nasty, the dominant blocking that we saw on that tape every snap, he'll be a very good player for us. And it took him a while, but the man did get there, and he was a mainstay. Fortunately, he was banged up some this year. I feel the same way about Owen here. If we could just get that dominant blocking that you see in some of these clips, the pancakes, the driving the man 5-10 yards down the field, if we get that every snap, we'll have a really good blocker here. We could potentially have the best blocker at tight end / H-back since Marshall Tolson back in 2018, 2019. Very good blocker. Very, very good blocker. Was an all-conference guy just solely off blocking. Okay, I truly feel like Owen can do that. But I feel like we got to add strength there because, again, at times, it didn't seem like he always blocked like a 220-pounder. So I think the ceiling is high. I like the ability here. And again, I like the versatility of both guys. I mean, we've got a guy that can really make an early impact in the pass game where we need. And I think, when we look at the fact that Braden is a junior, I mean, I feel like Owen, they're very similar in a lot of ways. So, you got a guy that can slide into that spot. But overall, I'm very pleased with the two that Coach Roberts brought in. Again, he does fantastic work. So I really like what we see out of that unit. Get to the offensive line. We know this is Coach Doyle's baby, and we know we did lose a lot of guys to graduation there, most notably Montrell Lee, just one of the most dominant guys in school history. along with what Matt Gardner and then Rob and Turner and I think Adam and Eric. So, we that is a question mark. Okay, that is a question mark, and we only brought in one transfer on that. So that should tell you the belief, I guess, of the young guys that we have. And I also like what we brought in here today. First up is Parker Cecil, 6'2", 270, from Austin, Texas, by way of Vandergrift High School. I think it's a very good program down there in the Austin area. You could make the argument. He could move the guard. He was a tackle in high school. You could make that argument. Montreal Lee did that. Had great success. You could, and I don't know if that's where we go with it. I wouldn't be opposed to it, honestly. But regardless, he's a nasty lineman with a great motor. Engages quickly, stays on man through the whistle. He has quick feet. This is very good. If he stays at tackle, I think he can handle the speed rushers. That was a problem for us some in the past couple of seasons there. I think we got more athletic there with this class as a whole. I think he's equally as good in pass pro and run blocking. He has an extremely high ceiling. To me, we just need to redshirt. And then you're going to hear me say this a lot with the next probably 4 positions. But we need to get stronger. And there's no knock. It's just the MIAA. It's a SEC of Division II. You got massive, strong men. We just need guys to get stronger. I mean, it is what it is here. Okay. And so I think that's got to be a priority there because I feel like at times he gave up a little bit too much ground on some pass pros. But I think if you get the strength up there, all the tools are there to me to be an all-conference caliber lineman, whether that's at guard or tackle. But I feel like his future could be at guard with that length and that size. But regardless, this is a very good lineman that to me has a really high ceiling. Then we bring in the transfer, Ricker Connolly, 6'5", 310, from Seminole, Texas, Seminole High School, by way of Tarleton State. He is a sophomore. This is very good. We get 3 years from a man. I could only find his high school tape. But that is what you are seeing. Now, I did notice on the high school tape, it said he only played offensive line for 1 year in high school. So, man, still learning the position here, which is very good. Because, I mean, let's be honest here. Man with, FCS after 1 year of playing offensive line, I mean, that's very telling. Obviously, this is a day one impact guy. He's got tremendous size. He's a natural mauler, drives the man through the whistle. What really impressed me is the way he engages and disengages quickly in pass pro. He identifies when he needs to switch off and switch on and who to switch on to. That's very important. You go back to Washburn in 2024. That was a problem for us in that football game. It just truly was. Okay. And I've been taking more of a note of that the past 2 classes when clips are in pass pro. Is the man able to switch on and off guys not only in a timely manner but correctly? And I think the man does that. I think he's good enough to get downfield quickly on the screens that we do. I think if we need him to pull, I think he can pull. To me, this is a no-brainer. This is a plug-and-play guy. Whether you're talking about he's starting day one or he's in the rotation day one, but I mean, I would be floored if he's not making some kind of early impact. I mean, he's already there on campus as a mid-year, so I would like to think we'll be seeing Mr. Connolly on the field here sooner rather than later. Next, we have Lucas Crawford, 6'6", 300 from Stillwater. Again, tremendous size. And this has been a focal point of Coach Doral since he took over. And I think we're really starting to see it here. Yeah, he does need to get stronger. He just sometimes he had trouble driving undersized guys. Again, nothing wrong with that. It just is what it is. It's just part of the game. But he's got the frame where he could honestly even add more to 300 pounds. If we're being honest. But to me, he can get the defender on the ground quickly. He can pull and get out on screens. Very telling. I don't know many 6'6", 300-pound guys that can do that. So that to me is very, very, very impressive. The most impressive part of him, in my opinion, is the way he slides his feet in pass pro. Because this is vitally important again. When we get to the speed rushes, can you move your feet? Can you adjust in time? What I saw, I truly believe that he's not sliding. He's actually moving his feet. He's not reaching. He's moving his feet. He's setting himself again, and he's engaging well and holding his ground. I think he's better. I think he's a better run blocker, but I think the potential is there if we add strength. He could be equally as good in pass pro, just because the feet alone. But at this point in time, the run blocking is the strength. Just the way he's able to get down the field, get to the second level, is able to pull, is able to engage and stay engaged. Right, if he's forced to play now, I would tell you that the run blocking is at a sufficient level. But I think the pass blocking definitely, if we get the strength up, could be really good. I think he has the potential to be a multi-year starter for us. I truly do. Because to me, all the tools are there. We've just got to get in the weight room there. We've got to get some development. But I'm telling you, this could be a guy for us down the road. Then we have Dennis, and I hope I'm saying your name right, sir. DeJeering, 6'4", 295, out of Lindsay. He is a guard. This is tremendous length and size for a guard. Can easily add more to that frame. Needs to get stronger, but what I really like about him is him and pass protection. This is a high-grade pass blocker to the fullest extent. Like, to the fullest extent. Because he knows who to engage in first, who to switch to, when to switch to. He doesn't give up a whole lot of ground. I think he'll give up even less when we add strength, get him a year in the weight room. To me, he's a natural pass blocker that I think can become a really high-level pass blocker for us there. He stays on blocks. You could say, well, he is 6'4". Do you consider moving him to tackle? But I feel like if the pass blocking is sufficient enough, I mean, you would have to give him a look. But I like his ceiling. I think after a redshirt year, it's gonna be tough. I think if to keep him out of the rotation there. I think the pass blocking is where he really will make a name for himself. Because let's be honest here, right? When you've got the explosive receivers that we signed, okay, what do we need in order to get the ball to him? We need time. And Dennis can provide that. So I'm really high on this here. This is a good pickup. This is a man that's already a high-level pass blocker. He's got the frame you want there. I think he has a high ceiling and should be a very good lineman for us. Next, we have Cooper Upton, 6'5", 295 out of Bigsby. So from experience, we know what we're getting there. He played both right and left tackle. That's very good. We got some versatility there. That is actually critical because there is a difference from playing right and left. He can stand and get stronger, but I think he's equally as solid and run in the pass. If I would have to give a comp, it reminds me a lot of Matt Gardner. You remember Matt Gardner early on, right? It took a while, but he kept developing. He kept improving in the weight room, and he ended his career as an all-conference lineman. Right, Cooper to me is almost a spitting image of that. He's bigger than Mac is. He has a bigger frame. I will say he does know when to switch on and off a defender. He pulls well and engages quickly on pulls. That's very good. We do pulling. Okay. I just worry, like I said, I worry about the speed rushes though, because some of the clips, in my opinion, gives up a little bit too much ground off the snap. That's why I said kind of reminds me some of Mac. He might be more athletic than Mac. Okay, but again, I feel like if Mac was able to go from, and I don't want to say like a liability, but a rotational guy to an all-conference starter. There's no reason why Cooper couldn't do the same thing. I think you dedicate yourself in the weight room there, especially with that kind of frame. He's got enough athleticism to be able to do all the things that we need a tackle to do in this offense. I think he can be in the rotation after a year or so. We just really need to get him stronger. I think that's the main thing, because you like to say, well, he's already 295. He's of a sufficient weight. We just got to get a sufficient strength, and I think we will have a very solid tackle for us. Then I think the final offensive lineman, and I hope I'm saying this man's name right, Stavros Stevie Vafias, 6'1", 280 from Fort Gibson. Now, I'm just going to tell you right now. Okay. I touched on at the open of this position. I said we're losing Montrell Lee to graduation. Okay. I present to you this is the most nasty, violent, explosive guard I have seen us sign since Montrell Lee. Okay? He's nasty. He has a high motor. He's a tackle. He was a tackle at Fort Gibson. I truly believe in my heart of hearts that he's going to be a guard for us. He gets defender on the ground quickly, plays with great leverage. He pulls extremely well. He just destroys defenders, tremendous pad level, gets to the second level quickly. Everything you want in a high caliber guard, you've got here. Like, yeah, this to me, right? If we red shirts, we get him up to what? I think Montrell was 300. So you figure you get him at least 10 more pounds, 10, 20 more pounds, if he's able to handle that, not lose the athleticism there. I'm telling you right now, this could be a all-conference guy. This down the road could be an all-conference guy. Because I'm watching that tape and I'm telling you, I am like this. This is how I felt when I watched that Montrell Lee tape out of Del City. This is exactly how I felt. So I'm just saying right now, they call him Stevie. I call him dominant. This could be our next, like, multiple time first team all conference line. Okay, this very well could be it. So I'm extremely high on Stevie. I think he's got every tool that you need to succeed at this level. We redshirt him. We get him a year in the weight room, and then we just unleash the man. Okay, so I give Coach Doyle credit there. A lot to like about that class. Tremendous frames on most of them, and you've got two tackles I believe could be really good guards. Turning to the defense, Coach Swanson's unit, I feel like improved a lot last year. You know, I feel like there might have been some question marks 2024 given the offense. But as we saw last, let's be honest here, we don't win a lot of games if it was not for the defense. And his defensive line unit is up first. Now, this is of vital importance. We did lose Wesley Hudson. We did lose Darius Hampton. We also had the graduation of Lemuel Lamb Gordon and Johnny Wilson. Okay, we do have losses there, high grade pass rushers. So we do need some additions there. And I feel like the first man is exactly what we need. Tristan De La Rosa, great name. 6'3", 240 from Argyle, Texas, Liberty Christian High School by Oklahoma Baptist. He is a junior, and he did have his college tape. So this is very good. Sometimes I either can't find the college tape or the college tape isn't really anything of note. Okay. He played with both the hand in the dirt and as a stand-up. I'm going to tell you right now, much of the way I felt about Darius when I watched his tape out of Independence is exactly how I'm feeling about De La Rosa here. Okay, we got a natural pass rusher. He's violent. He's physical at the point of attack. He fights through traffic well. He breaks down when he makes the tackle. He's not over pursuing there. That's very good but we know we should have had, I feel like I had about 40 sacks this year. We just broke down, right? He disengages quickly in run defense. There is no quit in this man. Just a tremendous motor. This is clearly, to me, this is a day one guy, and this is a guy that, if we're being honest here, he should be competing for that starting job opposite of Cameron Dunn. Like, I believe he should be able to compete for that starting job. Now, I know we've got a lot of young talent in that room. We've got Ethan Stiles emerged as a sophomore for us last year. We've got Zachary Stillwell back, a team captain as a senior. Okay, we've got people there, but I'm telling you, something about you watch the tape, and I'm like, this is what we lost in Darius, we're getting here in Tristan. So to me, this is a massive pickup. I send kudos to Coach Swanson here. I truly do. Because this is a high-grade pass rusher that we desperately need to replace some of the outgoing elite-level pass rush that we had from a season ago. Next, we have Kaiser Durr, 6'2", 290 from Enid by way of Chisholm. So a teammate of Brandon Todd. I could not find any film on him, so I would have to leave. I had to put a NA. Excuse me. I had to put a NA there for now until I'm able to see what he can do on the field. Next, we have Xavier Freeman, 6'1", 280 from Oklahoma City by way of Heritage Hall. Another OBU transfer. Well, OBU was kind to us. He is a junior, so he has 2 years left. This is his high school tape. Obviously, if you're 6'1", 280, we kind of run a three-man front, so feel like just got some versatility there, playing inside and playing outside. He's got a high motor. He's a high-effort guy. I think he can play all three downs. No different than what Wesley was doing for us there. He fights through traffic well. I mean, nothing really necessarily jumped at me other than he's going to be a solid rotational lineman for us with the ability to play in all three situations. He didn't give up a whole lot of ground when in the run game. I think he'll be a solid lineman for us. That's kind of the best I got for you there. He could be a solid rotational guy for us. He gives us experience. He gives us some versatility there. And we do indeed need that because, again, Wesley was able to be a three-down guy at times, so was Lamb. So we do need guys to replace that here. And I think Freeman could kind of slide into Lamb's spot there. Maybe not as explosive, but could be a more consistent player than what Lamb was for us. Next, we have Desmond Golden, fantastic name, 6'1", 275 from Jonesboro, Arkansas by Jonesboro High School. he needs to get stronger. Yeah, so I feel like we redshirt, we get in the weight room. Okay, because to me, this is a natural pass rusher. And I feel like we're losing Wesley. We kind of need that up the middle, right? We really need that up the middle. He's got a good dip move and a great swim move. That is vitally important. I always point this out because sometimes high school guys don't come in with the arsenal or any move really because they either overpower the defender or they're more athletic. Desmond has two moves already. He has a high motor, he's physical and violent. There, I think it was the second clip where he about broke a man's back. See ball, get ball guy. He has good pad level, good leverage. You can tell he's been well coached. Yeah, to me, he's a 3-down guy. Sufficient enough against the run. I think the ceiling is extremely high. There are some traits to Wesley. Now, is he Wesley? No. But there are similar traits there, I think, in terms of the motor. I think in terms of the physicality. He can still affect the play without necessarily making the sack or making the tackle just by pushing the pocket. Okay, this is a guy, and I don't know if Louis Jones is still here. The tackle from Mustang. Those are two guys I'm very high on there. Okay, I'm very high on because you got to look at the fact here. Brady Smith will be a junior. So we are going to need more interior guys to show and produce for us here. And I think Desmond can definitely do that. I would like to see a redshirt year. We get a little bit stronger. Maybe we get up to, I don't know, 285, 290 if we're playing tackle most of the time. You could make an argument, I guess, if you wanted to, that he could be an end in a 3-man front. You could make that. I just really like him as a pass rushing tackle who is good enough in run defense to stay on the field all 3 downs. But I am really high on Desmond Golden here. Then we have Nasir Hudson, 6'3", 250. From New Orleans, Louisiana, Warren Easton High School, by way of Independence. So we know the impact that an Independence pass rusher had for us last year. He is a sophomore. He has 3 years. That is very good. Tremendous effort. Tremendous effort. There's several clips where he's running the ball carrier down 10, 15, 20 yards down the field. You can't teach effort. You cannot teach effort. You either have it or you don't. And Nasir has it. He disengages quickly at times. Sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he gets stuck. He gets stuck on blocks. But he's a physical player. He doesn't quit. He does fight through traffic. He breaks down well when he gets in the backfield. When he goes to make a tackle, he's not going high. He's going at waist level. It's not arm tackle. It's full tackling. Again, that's important. We missed several sacks last year because of that. Well, I think he'll be a rotational lineman for us. I think he'll be solid. Is he Darius Hampton? No. But, I mean, I'll say this. Does he strike me as a elite level pass rusher? No. Does he strike me as a good rotational pass rusher? You get him a few snaps here, a few snaps there. Yeah, I think he can do the job. I think he can still provide a rush. Worst case, he's taking on an offensive lineman, and he doesn't quit. So when offensive lineman might stop blocking, when he thinks that the ball carrier is sufficiently down the field and let him go, there's a chance he could pick up a few tackles just from that alone. But again, we know the way Coach Swanson likes to rotate. He does bring some collegiate experience So this is a solid pickup for us there. Next, we have Cody Johnson, 6'4", 235, from Greenwood, Arkansas, Greenwood High School. I'm very impressed here. Obviously, he has the frame. Okay, he was a stand-up pass rusher. If we're gonna be honest here, this is a more higher ceiling Noah West. Okay, if you were there 2022 to 2024, okay, you know the impact Noah West had for us as that stand-up pass rusher. Okay, Cody Johnson is just physically better than what Noah has. He already has a good swim move. He's violent. He breaks down well. He plays with really good pad level for a player of his size, means he's well coached. He knows leverage there. Disengages quickly. He has a great motor. Everything you want in a stand-up pass rusher, Cody Johnson has. And again, if you factor this in with some of the pass rushers that we've signed in Coach Swanson's time, I'm telling you right now, if these guys can stay together, like our pass rush can be insane here in the next year or so. I truly mean that, because if you look at the guys we're getting, most of the pass rushers are long. They've got length, they've got size, they've got motor. They're athletic, they're physical, they're nasty. The pass rushing, we should be in good shape. Yeah. And I think Cody, does he play as a true freshman? I don't know. I think he redshirts because we have other guys in that room, but sure, Coach Swanson will play whoever is best and who he feels like can help the team win. And if that ends up being him, then so be it. But I really like the frame. I like the motor. I like the physicality here. Everything you want in a pass rusher, Cody has. So I think the future is very, very, very bright. Then we go to Michael Johnson, 6', 280 from UConn. This is very good because we know Zach's a senior, so we got another UConn guy. Keep that pipeline going. Also brought us Tyler Stillwell and Dante McGee, two high-level players. He played DN in a 3-4 front. This is very good. Okay, this is very good. So you could figure, again, he could be a 3-down guy just based off that alone. Our base is a 3-3-5. He's got great motor and effort. I feel like even though he was in, I feel like he's best suited as a tackle for us. I just don't know about the athleticism necessarily. I feel like he's more of a 2-down lineman. I'm not entirely sure what pass rushing ability he will have at this level. I think he'll be a very good run stopper for us. I think he's very stout at the point of attack. It doesn't easily give up ground. He can disengage. He can make the tackle. He fights through traffic well. To me, and again, this is no knock. This is a guy, like I said, first, second down, and you take him off the field on third down, and you send in a pass rusher. We've seen it before. We saw it. I feel like we saw it with Servant Counselor, right? On passing downs, we would take him out. I think kind of the same thing, but I think he'll be very good at what he does. And I think you get him redshirted, you get a year in the weight room, you get him stronger because he's already 280. At 6', he's already got the leverage advantage because, again, low man wins, right? There's just a lot to like here, and I think, you give him time. This isn't a guy I necessarily feel like, we redshirt and you're seeing him heavy part of the rotation after a year. I think this is a guy kind of like Zach that you just give a couple of years, let him develop, and then I think he will have an impact for us. So I do like Michael Johnson here. This is a solid pickup. So I'm curious to see if we keep him at end or move him inside. I feel like he's best suited inside. Looking at the next two are brothers, and they're both Edmond guys, so you love to see. You got Logan Lesh, 6'3", 220 from Edmond, Oklahoma, by way of Edmond Memorial. He's got a solid frame, all already there. High energy, high motor, high effort, physical player who breaks down well in pursuit. Again, this is very important here. I feel like we over-pursued at times a lot last year. Fires off the ball quickly and shoots the gaps well. Doesn't over-pursue. Defended the options perfectly. Now, this has been a sticking point. We don't always defend the options well. You go back to Kearney, they bit us a few times on that the past couple of years, okay? So, to me, this is very good. Okay, he will make his money to me as a pass rusher. He played with both the hand in the dirt and stand up. I kind of like him more as a stand up. I like rushers more as a stand up. I don't know. That's just the way I've always done it. But he has a good swim move. He can stand to get stronger. Especially if he's going to be a hand in the dirt guy. You like to see him get to 230, 240 if we can do that without losing the athleticism or the explosiveness there. But to me, he has a very high ceiling. He has a chance to be a fantastic pass rusher for us there. And I think is a guy we should be seeing on the field there sooner rather than later. Then to his brother Teagan, 6'3", 230 from Edmond, Oklahoma, by way of Edmond Memorial. They're very similar players. One's 10 pounds heavier. He's got tremendous effort, several downfield tackles. Again, you can't teach effort. High motor, no quit. There is some traits of Robert Fuentes. I hold him in high regard. He's a violent physical pass rusher. He was used both as stand-up and hand in the dirt. Again, I prefer stand-up there. He's extremely twitchy, and I think that's the most I noticed when I say Rob. The explosiveness that Rob played with and Rob had is similar. Rob was, I'd say, about an inch taller, 10 pounds heavier than what Teagan is now. But there are similar traits there when you look at the violent nature of which they play, the motor, the effort. It seems like there is no quit in this man. That snap 1 will be the same as snap, 60. Okay, I just get that vibe here. I think it would be tough. Okay, it would be tough. But I feel like there is a chance he could force his way onto the field. I truly do. I have that feeling off what I saw on the tape. To me, he's got enough size day one, especially with the athleticism, to get on the field where you're not saying, this is a liability. Okay? I would prefer a red shirt. We prefer to get him stronger, but this is a high-grade pass rusher I think has a very high ceiling. I think both brothers have a very high ceiling, and I'm glad I get to cover another pair of brothers. Speaking of which, the last defensive lineman is a brother of a current UCO linebacker. It is Kane Wood, 6'4", 220 out of UConn, by way of Mustang. Shout out there to former UCO running back Peyton Scott, running back coach down there. Good for P. Scotty. Well, you look at Kane, great frame already. He's 6'4", 220. He played a lot with a hand in the dirt, which to me means we can get you up to 240, 250. We'll be doing good there. He attacks the gaps well and quickly. What strikes me about him is he has a feel for the game that is beyond his years. It's almost like I'm not watching a high school guy. I'm watching a, second, third year collegiate player that's seen a lot of football. Like he doesn't immediately attack. He takes time to read the defender, decide the best method to attack said defender, and does it well. Okay, that is very impressive. That is very impressive. He has a really high motor. He breaks down well, solid form tackler. I truly think if we get muscle added to him, because to me, his play style would lead to great success. To me, it's no different than Dylan Buckheit as safety, where the feel for the game he had, the way he attacked the game, the way he was like how he always knew the best way to do X, Y, and Z. I get a similar vibe to Kane here. I think this is a very crafty player that's got the physical tools. He's got enough athleticism to do what we need to do here. I think this could be a multi-year guy for us after a redshirt season. We get him stronger, but I think all the tools, especially mentally, this is a very advanced player, and I think this is a guy with the super duper high future. And again, I get to cover another pair of brothers, so we all win in this scenario here. So I give Coach Swanson credit. Just two great classes, in my opinion, of defensive linemen here. Really up to standard there. And I truly think that despite the losses, I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay. Moving on to Coach Harrell. Again, you just can't say enough about this man at linebacker. You just have to point out the fact the man was gone for 1 year in 2023. We had a drop at linebacker, right? He comes back and we pick up like it was nothing. You just have to give Coach Harrell's credit. He's so good at his job. He's so good. He signed two linebackers. Well, first one is Quincy Pond, what a name. 6'1", 220 out of Idabel. I'm going to tell you right now. If you were here, I think he was here in 2017. I think it's when he first signed, I think. You were here from roughly 2017 or 2022. Jason Harris, the second at linebacker. This to me is what he could have been had he not had 3 knee injuries. Okay. He's a physical downhill backer. He has ball skills. I think he has enough coverage skills to be a 3-down guy. Extremely good on blitzes. Shoots the gap well. Form tackler. He breaks down. He's not over pursuing. That's of critical importance when we're talking about blitzes here. It is really easy to over pursue on that. You're coming full speed at a guy. Sometimes at an angle, it can be really easy to just miss the tackle. He does not. He attacks the ball carrier quickly, and I'm telling you, once he finds you, you are going down. It is not a slight push. You will feel him, and I'm telling you right now, this is a guy I'm very high on. The last Idabel guy we signed was Tyrone Howell. We know you were there 2018. Impact Tyrone Howell had ended up playing at Kansas State and UL Monroe. I think he was the Tulsa Oilers last year. I think that sounds about right. But regardless, though, I'm really high on Quincy Pond. This to me, because if we're looking at the rule, I mean, right? Kazan's a senior, Reese is a senior, Joey's a senior. You know what I mean? You are looking like Hudson's going to be a junior. Like we kind of are getting up there in that room, and we do have some red shirts, but I mean, like you could say there's a path for Quincy on special teams. We gotta, because listen, Hudson Grant is gone, and you gotta. I pointed this out several times. Hudson Grant was a grade A special teamer. Yeah, we do need somebody to replace that, and we saw Reese. We saw Kazin, as true freshman, play on special teams. And I don't see why Quincy couldn't do the same. He's got enough speed. He's got the physicality. To me, I think he's ready to play now if called upon. This could be a very special guy for us. This could be a very special guy. And I truly feel like he could really be our next great linebacker here. I truly do. I truly do. Then the other linebacker that I'm also extremely high on here is Cole Watkins, 6'3", 215 out of Blanchard. So already the frame. You already have the frame. He's got a teammate there in Corey Pierce, if he's still there, also Ross Johnston. So we are making inroads in Blanchard. Again, that's very good program down there. To me, this is a Connor Johnson level guy. Okay, now you obviously don't want to say, you don't want to put the pressure on the man because we know the impact Connor Johnson had for us for many years, and it will be missed. But I think if you're looking for similarities, I mean, this is what jumped off at me here. To me, he has the length, he has the coverage skills, he has ball skills. You're seeing clips of him playing receiver, making contested catches. He can rush the passer as well. We do know Connor had great success on blitzes. Cole has done the same at Blanchard. He closes quickly and violently here. I think he's a sound tackler. There's a lot. It is eerily similar to Connor Johnson. It is eerily similar to Connor Johnson. And listen, if we, like, even if we just get 70 to 75% of what Connor Johnson gave us, then Cole will be a great linebacker because right. But I really like this though. Does he play year one is the question. I don't know. I don't know if you had to just. If I had to give you an answer now, I would say he's probably pegged for a red shirt. But I do think he will have an impact here sooner rather than later, especially with guys like Kazin and Reese and Joey graduating. I mean, there's definitely a path forward there. But I am extremely high on the two linebackers that Coach Harrell signed. I mean, these to me are two impact possible stalwarts in that room for 3 to 4 years. This is very good, and I tip my cap to Coach Harrell again for another good crop of linebackers. I feel like we're sounding like a broken record over here every year, but I mean, he just does a fantastic job. Moving on to corner, and I do appreciate us this year breaking down from corner and safety. That makes it a whole lot easier for me. Shout out here to Coach Johnson, the cornerbacks coach. First, we have Isaiah Fields, 5'11", 170 from Broken Bro. Fantastic name. I'm going to tell you right now, this is like Willie Rice-esque. He's physical for his size. He's got great closing speed. He has ball skills. He's got fluid hips. That's very important. You do not want a corner with stiff hips. You don't want that. If you don't believe me, go watch the 2018 Champs Heart of Texas Bowl. Watch Barry Higdon out there get absolutely cooked. Okay, it is for that reason. All right. The main knock on him is sometimes he gets too close And when receivers run comebacks, they get a little bit of a leverage advantage over him. Okay, that is something I don't know if we can kind of like not be as close. I don't know. Like that was the biggest knock that I saw. But I think he's well coached. He's definitely he knows the game because every time he has a receiver near the sideline, he does the right thing and try to reroute him, angle him towards the sideline. Use the sideline as an extra defender. Okay, that's very important, and that shows a guy that knows ball. I think you give him a red shirt season because I think we do have corners there. I know we did lose Deuce and Connor, but and Willie as well. I think we still have corners though. I think there is enough there to redshirt him, get him stronger, maybe get him, I don't know, another 5-10 pounds on him. But I really like what Isaiah Fields brings to the table here. I think this could be a really good corner for us. Next, we have Nick Holmes, 6', 180 from Dell City. So, we did lose one in Montreal and we gained another. So there's that for us there. He has great size. At 6 foot, 180. That's day one size. He's got special teams ability, which is, again, that's very important. We know Xavier Booth made a name for himself last year on kick coverage. Okay, Nick was also on kick coverage and has return ability. Again, we need return ability, so there's there for you too. He has ball skills because he was also a wide receiver, as you're seeing here on tape. Fluid hips, again, that's very, 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 very important. He reads eyes well of the quarterbacks, and most importantly to me is he doesn't get lost in zone. We had several breaks last year. Go back to Central Missouri on that 4th down. We had 2 guys take a drag, and there was a man open for like a 50-yard touchdown, right? I think with Nick, hopefully that kind of mitigates that some. He's a solid tackler. I don't expect tremendous tackling from most corners, unless you're a slot corner. But he's physical. He reminds me a little bit of Daniel Egwuis mixed with JK. It's almost like this is what you want this is what you wanted Daniel to be, is what I'm saying from Nick. Okay. But he has JK's, I think this is like JK's exact size. Okay. So I think there's a high ceiling there. You've got all conference potential. There is a lot to like here about Nick Holmes. Does he play year one? I don't know. I prefer the redshirt corners if possible. I feel like corners and quarterbacks, if you play them both before they're ready and their confidence is shot, I mean, it's very hard to recover from that. So ideally, I think we redshirt, but I truly think that there's a very bright future here for Nick Holmes. Then we have Gavin Johnson, 6'2", 180 from Frisco, Texas, by way of North Garland. Now, I think the last DB we got from Frisco, Texas was Daniel Ballman. You were here 2019, Daniel Ballman, pretty much about the same size. I think Gavin's about 10 pounds heavier, but he was top 10 in D2 in pass breakups that year. And I'm telling you right now, don't know why Gavin couldn't do the same. He's got the size, obviously. He's got ball skills. He's physical. He's a willing tackler. What, to me, is most impressive here, he's good in press man and zone. That's very good. Okay, that's very good. We know, right, that was a problem with Deuce. He was better in zone than he was in man. If you get a guy that's equally good in both, keep him on the field longer. To me, he does a really good job of reading the receiver. Like you can, if you watch it, you can almost watch him like he's reading the the receiver's eyes and knows at the right time when to put a hand up, when to initiate contact, when to try to make a play. That is vitally important. There were times I feel like we weren't doing that. And I feel like we took a step forward in that regard this past year. That was a problem. I know in 2022, was the some in 2024? I just felt like there were times where if we were more, if the defender was more alert, more deflections could have been made, right? Okay, I think Gavin goes a long way towards combating that. Okay, again, he's got everything you want from a measurable standpoint here. It reminds me, if I had to make a comparison, you were here in 2018, Deion Hallman, Jordan Noyle, the Ball State and Kansas State transfers, respectively. Similar players. It's similar players. Those were two guys. I don't know if one of them made all conference that year. I feel like I could be wrong, no, but they were both really good, high level DBs for us. I think Gavin can do that too. So again, does he play year one? I don't know. I feel like you look at an Antoine Gilbreath. You look at there's Austin Hubert back there, there's Xavier Booth back there, and there's Matthew Shears off redshirt. Like, I feel like we can redshirt him, but I think he has a very bright future for us. Looking at Caleb Johnson, 5'10", 170 from Tyler, Texas, away of Tyler High School. This is Connor Ashley. This is essentially Connor Ashley when he's on his A game. Fluid hips, sticks to man well, good ball skills, willing tackler, great closing speed. He can stand to get stronger, so I think you redshirt him there. I think this is Connor Ashley. This is Connor Ashley to an absolute T. If you're looking at the film, you got to go back to Connor. He had good ball skills. He closed extremely well. He was a willing tackler. He could lay the boom at times. He could be extremely sticky in coverage at times. This is exactly what I'm seeing out of Caleb Johnson. So I feel like we redshirt, we get him a little bit stronger there. I think we've got a solid rotational corner. Could be a starter at some point. There is a lot to like about him, so I think this is all around a solid pickup here. Then it should be a good corner for us for years to come. However, my favorite corner is A.J. Roberts Jr., 5'10", 160 out of Owasso. And now normally I have the like I said, to me, the high ceiling, early impact type of guys. I have bolded in red. I have him bolded in maroon. I have never done this before. When I watched that tape, it was only about 2 minutes. That was 2 minutes of pure chaos. And I'm telling you right now, I know I've said over the years, so-and-so reminds me of Colby Underwood in this way, in that way. A.J. Roberts is the closest thing I have seen to Colby Underwood since he was in a UCLA uniform. Those that don't know Colby Underwood, 2018. Yeah, 2018 was a true freshman somewhere in Texas of similar size. Okay, he wasn't starting. I think it was Barry Higdon. I'm pretty sure it was Barry Higdon we had starting right at some point. Barry wasn't getting the job done, and we put Colby out there. And I'm telling you, that man Probably had the best true freshman season I've seen from a corner in my time covering. He was very good in coverage, had multiple picks, multiple deflections. He played bigger. Everything I saw then, I am seeing out of AJ Roberts Jr. He has ball skills. He fights through blocks and traffic well. He's a physical downhill thumper, right? When I talk about, right, you don't really expect a lot from corners in terms of tackling, usually unless they're a slot. AJ Roberts, not only can he tackle, but it is like a Madden hit stick every single time. Like, this is honestly, if you mix Kobe Underwood with Trayvon Craig and Jakari Hunt, is what you're getting here. And I'm telling you right now, sure, there is the potential. Targeting calls there, I don't know. I mean, you catch them at a wrong angle. Oh, but I'm telling you right now, this to me is a extremely high level. I'm talking like All-American potential, in my honest opinion here. You're seeing the tape here. He's good at run support. Like I said before, he fights through traffic well. Good, solid form tackler. He plays a lot bigger than 160 pounds. And to me, that would be the one thing I would say could keep him off the field. Ideally, you would like, especially with his play style, would like to be at least 180, 185 if we can. But I'm telling you, the ceiling on this man, I have not felt this way about a guy. Maybe since Jack Puckett. I have not felt this way about a high school recruit that is signed, that I believe the ceiling is something special. And I am telling you, AJ Roberts Jr. is added to that list. Okay. And as I truly hope that's the case. I truly do. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you with 100% certainty, what we saw out of Willie Rice, as good as Willie Rice was for us the past 2 seasons, AJ can be better for the next 4. So I am really excited to follow this man through his career, and I'm curious to see if he carves a roll out or if he indeed does get the red shirt, get time to bulk up. The final corner, another hometown guy you love to see, Apache Taylor, grade A name, 5'11", 175 from Edmond by way of Deer Creek. He had 3 interceptions as a senior, so you know he has the ball skills. He plays the D ball like a center fielder in baseball, and there's a safety that kind of does the same thing here. That's very good. Willing tackler. He's physical. He's willing to lay the boom. He's sticky and man is almost like Willie Rice, but with better ball skills. Listen, I love Willie to death. I truly do love Willie, but we know the ball skills at times, it's just not there. He can stand to get stronger, but I think he also has a great feel for the game. I think he knows, he has a feel for when things are about to happen. This is a high level corner. This is a high level corner. I think if we redshirt, we get him stronger. He doesn't necessarily have to get bigger, but he can get stronger. This is a guy I would suspect to be in the rotation sooner rather than later. I think he has a very high ceiling, And I think this is a very good pickup for us. It could be the first Deer Creek guy we've signed in quite some time. But yeah, so no, I'm really high on Apache. I really like all the corners signed. Really, I think, I don't know who's still there in that room with the freshmen last year, but I mean, I really like this group of corners. So I do want to give Coach Johnson his credit there. We're looking to safety, Coach Pearson, again, just fantastic work there. He's signed about 4. The first one is Wyatt Atkinson, 6', 180 from Perkins, Oklahoma, by way of Perkins Tryon High School. I think he'll be a solid player. He has ball skills. He's good at blitzing. If I'm like he could play that. That hybrid safety linebacker role. I think he was a linebacker, at least the way he was listed on his huddle page. But he's high energy, he's physical, he can deliver the boom, really good closing speed. There's a little bit of D Will in there. Like, he's not as explosive as D Will. I don't think he's as violent as D Will. But you can kind of see some similarities. The way they're more downhill, the way they're willing to stick their head in there, lay the boom. I think you're kind of seeing some similarities there. So I think Wyatt will be a very solid player for us. I think he obviously red shirts. I think we get him a little bit stronger there. But I think there is a path to where we definitely see Wyatt on the football field. Next, we have Alex Dudley, 5'11", 185 from Sand Springs, fresh off a state championship. So he has that winning pedigree. Shout out there to former UCO offensive line coach Carson Green. He was the offensive coordinator down there. So again, there you go. He's got ball skills, being a former receiver. He's got return ability. This is very good. I like him a lot more in coverage, and I gave a note. He has some Dylan Buckheit vibes. I think a similarity, feel for the game type. I think in coverage you'll see similar things. I think Dylan was always around the ball. I feel like Alex will always be around the ball. I think he redshirts. I think we get him a little bit bigger because it says he's 185, but when I was watching the film, it didn't look like a guy that was 185 pounds. But regardless, though, I really like the coverage skill. I think he'll be great on the third and longs. I think we could put him in there, add almost like a extra corner, maybe that has better tackling ability. But I do like Alex. Think he'll be a very good defensive back for us, and to me has really good coverage potential. Next we have Jackson Franklin, 6'3", 200 from Tulsa, by way of Union. He is an Air Force transfer. He is a freshman. You're watching his high school tape, which he had 83 tackles, 3 interceptions. He has ball skills. He was also a receiver at Union. Obviously, he has the size, as you can tell, being 6'3". He's also been in a collegiate program. Not only that, but a military program at that for a year. So physically, he's superior than where he was on the tape that you're watching. He's a good tackler when breaking down. He's a good downhill blitzer. He's physical. But this is a guy should be in that safety rotation. I truly do. I mean, we did lose Braden Waters. I like to think there is a chance he slides in there because Adrian Machia is gone as well. So there is a path there for him. I think the size alone, especially if you put him and Abner back there, you've got two 6'2", 6'3" guys. You're very hard to throw against. I kind of got some Trayvon Craig in there. I think from a physicality standpoint, there is some level of Trayvon Craig, not to that degree, but I mean it's not like he's just going to gently take you to the ground. I think he'll be in the mix. I think there's a lot to like there about Jackson, and so this is another player that Coach Pearson can use in an already deep safety room. Then the final safety is Lincoln King. What a name! 5'11", 185 pounds from Oklahoma City, by way of Midwest City. Now, as you can see, most of the tape was him playing offense. So, he's speedy, he's explosive, he's got return ability. This is very good. As far as the DB, I do not know. I have to put an NA there because, again, I think there were like only a handful of clips of him at DB and there were him making tackles. So he can tackle. But, I mean, I think he has the athleticism there. I think you're red shirt, you just commit him to one side of the ball. I think he'll be a good DB for us, but I can't really elaborate much more than that just because I don't have the film present for me. Finally, we go to the special teams unit. Now, this is vitally important. As you know, that was a sore spot last year, too. Joseph Kim is now at OSU. I think that would just leave, if Ethan Spywalk is still there, the redshirt freshman out of Carl Albert, and then redshirt sophomore Greg McDonald coming off surgery, are the two returning guys there. We added Bradley Thau, 6'1", 200 from Bigsby. Quick fluid motion. I will say this. This could be a day one guy on kickoffs for us because he had a lot of kickoffs go out the back of the end zone, several kickoffs of 70 or more yards. It got good hang time on the kickoffs. He also had an onside kick attempt that was successful. There to me is definitely a path in which Bradley could indeed be our kickoff guy. And you've seen teams use two kickers, one for kickoff, one for your field goals and your extra points. And I would need to see Ethan more on kickoffs, with a year now in the weight room and such. But I think there definitely is a path forward there in which Bradley could, in theory, carve out a role there as a kickoff guy early. In terms of the actual field goal kicking, he has a nice, quick, fluid motion, which is very good. You don't want to help the special teams unit, the opposing team block the kick. He hit kicks from a variety of angles. That's very good. The main concern is the longest kick shown was 36 yards. Now, if you're kicking the ball at the back of the end zone of 70-plus yards, would like to think your range is more than 36, but I also do not know. So based off that, I would need to see, much like it was, if there's like an inner squad before the season again, I could get a better read on that. What is his range? But I think it's very promising that he has a leg that's good enough. They want to be a kickoff guy for us. He's executed onside kicks. He comes from a good program. So overall, I really like Bradley here. This is a good addition to our kicking room. When we turn to punter, because Davis Barr was not aware of this until I saw this morning, he is signed with Northwest to play with former UCO offensive lineman Reese Trammell. So there's that for you. I think inconsistent would be a great way to describe Davis's play last year. We brought in another transfer, Tyler Madsen, 5'10", 180, from Lubbock, Texas, Trinity Christian High School, by way of Central Arkansas. He's a sophomore with 3 years of eligibility left. You're watching his high school tape. He has kickoff and field goal experience, so that's also good too. I don't know then if there becomes a battle for if we want him to do the kickoffs. We had Grayson Miller at one point did do kickoffs for us. So there is some competition there. He has solid hang time. There's a couple down inside the 10. The main thing, we just need consistency. We need consistency. We can't have what we had last year at times where we had a game of really good punting, and then we had two not so great games of punting. Ideally, and again, I mean, it's tough for little Grayson Miller because we know Grayson Miller, we know the talent that he is, but if we could just get more consistency there, I think we'll be good. The fact that Tyler's the only punter that we're bringing in, I think is very telling of the staff's belief in him. So, I'll reserve judgment on this until I'm able to put eyes on the man. But this does look very promising here, and so I'm curious to see what Tyler does. Finally, the final player of this class is long snapper Caleb Finley, 6 foot 210 from Moore, Oklahoma. You just love to see. You love to see as a Moore guy. You truly love to see more guys come in. We lost with Mac. We're losing Kazan after this year. It's good to get another Moore guy into the fray by way of Westmore. I will say this, he gets the snaps off clean. They get there quickly. On the couple of snaps that were shown of snapping to a holder, it was clean. It was right in the breadbasket there. Helps with the clean operation. So I think he should compete. I forgot who we had a long snapper last year. Was it Draven Gregg? I feel like it was Draven Gregg. I don't know. I don't know if Hayden Brick is still there or not. The now registered sophomore from OCS. But listen, hey, the more competition we have there, the merrier. So, yeah, man, I will see what happens with that. I feel like long snapper is a position where, unless something goes wrong, they don't really notice you. They don't really notice you, right? But I think we get somebody more athletic, I think would help at long snapper too. Especially when you go back, look at Peyton Hunt from 2022 to 2024, the impact he had making tackles and such on special teams, right? I think Caleb can do the same. He gets to snap off quickly, cleanly, runs down there. So I think that's like a solid long snapper to me. So in totality here, I really like the class. I think there's a lot of high impact guys. I think a lot of the young guys will be pushed by this class. I truly do. I think we got better in almost every area. I think we added versatility that we needed in almost every area. And in some areas, we added some much needed depth. So all in all, I like this class a lot. I think there's some high impact guys. Some we might see down the road. Some we could see come week 1 or so. But I do give Coach Doral and that staff a ton of credit there.